Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. I'm Southside, and joining me on the show tonight is AK and the legend that is the Bridgeman. How are you, gentlemen?
Good evening, Southside. Good evening, Bridgeman, the techie team, and everybody that's listening.
Bridge, how are you, pal?
All right, pal. Thank you very much. A big good evening to yourself, Southside, and of course, AK. He's going to look after me tonight, and the techie boys in the back. I'll get a big shout out to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Get in there, boys. Come on. We are the people. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hi, can I just give a shout out to all the troops already that's filled the YouTube page? There's loads of them in there tonight on YouTube channel, so I'd like to say hello to all them. Thanks for joining us tonight, as always. And a good evening to everybody listening in on Facebook. Hopefully we'll enjoy the show this evening. AK, how are you, pal?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, pal. It's good to be on with the housewife's favourite tonight, Bridge.
I'm assuming you're talking about him, not me.
Aye, upstairs missing the night. I think to fill in at short notice.
Very good. That's a good shout there. That's a good shout. Oh, you nearly choked me there. Okay. You nearly choked me.
He's gone to HR tomorrow, don't worry about that. He's gone to HR tomorrow, Bridgeman, don't worry about
that. Bridge is a care home's favourite.
Hey, you're not far away either, I'll tell you, boy.
You've been there in 2 weeks. You've been there in 2 weeks, AK. How are you, Bridge? All right?
All right, pal, thanks very much. All right. I was watching the Liverpool game last night. I was saying to Foxy and AK, I couldn't watch it. Half time I gave up. It was just rotten. Absolutely rotten. You know, remember years ago, not that long ago, right enough, that big fella, the centre half, the captain of Liverpool. Oh my goodness, he's disappeared. He's got no form at all now. That's what I thought last night.
You got this Santa suit look to it, Bridgeman?
Oh, aye.
Good. Delivering the presents as always.
She used to catch out and me. She was a nurse, you know. She worked as a psychiatric nurse. And then she would say, she would tell all the patients, she's got a new Santa this year. It would be me. Here, there's your clothes. Get in there and go.
You know what they say about nurses, Bridge? They've always seen one bigger. Anyway.
Oh, you're on fire tonight, pal. You're on fire.
Right, okay, what's happening? We've lost the plot now. I think we're going to. I think Danny Roll has just done a press conference, and it's quite long, so I believe the technical team are going to cut it down a wee bit because we don't know what he said yet. But I think we're going to listen to the first maybe 5, 6, 8 minutes here, whatever, and then we can talk about it. We'll find out who's travelled and who's no. I think we've got a general idea of the players that's injured, and I think probably Bizrami's no travelled. But we can find all these things out during the presser that we're going to listen to. So if you two guys would like to go on mute, hopefully the Fox will have this sorted and we'll be able to listen to it. And then we can discuss what's happening, and hopefully we'll get some callers in tonight and we can discuss it. So if you two would like to hit mute, we'll hear the press conference for Danny Roll.
Joe is not with us. Lyle is with us, but big question mark. We have to assessment in the evening. Dushon is back in the squad. This is good signal. He he's good. He's not available for Europe, but general for us, need him. Looks not so good. It's hard. We thought after the game it's maybe not so serious, but at the moment it looks more serious. At the moment we have a little bit more injuries. It's not helpful, but we have still a good group together, still a squad together. But of course it's also important to manage some people at the moment, and this is tomorrow our job to do, that we find the right players for this game. We have a challenge ahead of us. We want to take a good result here. And for this we have to do everything right.
Kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy ki elérhető a csapatból, vannak esetleges sérülések. A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy vannak sérülések, vannak olyan játékosok, akik velünk utaztak, például Live Vision neten, akik nem biztosan 100%-osak, vannak, akik képesek nemzetközi szinten is most játszani, de sajnos több sérültünk van, ettől függetlenül mindenképpen szeretnénk egy jó eredményt elérni holnap.
Danny saying the team isn't good news. Is it a muscle injury? Any idea on timescale at the moment?
We need him?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like a muscle injury. We have to look now. Needham felt not so bad, but the scan was not so positive, and it's the reason now we have to wait. We will check this one more time, and then it's week by week. Hopefully it's not so long. If you count at the moment all these injuries, then it's a lot of players. They have some problems. It's a lot of games, national players. They're on traveling. Now we have a lot of games, but we will manage this, and then we find solutions.
Kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy néhány sérüléséről mit lehet tudni, a vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolt, hogy sajnos ő valószínűleg izomsérülést szenvedett az előző mérkőzéseken, ettől függetlenül nyilván próbáljuk a helyzetet kezelni annyira, amennyire lehet. Vannak ezek a sérülések, amikkel meg kell birkózni, meg nem segít ezeknek az orvoslásában az, hogy ennyi meccset játszunk. Nyilván a válogatott játékosok is plusz terhelésnek vannak kitéve, ettől függetlenül megteszünk mindent.
Just on the muscle injuries, any idea why there's so many? Could that be because it's a change in style, or we're running more?
I think it's if I have a clear idea, then I would change it. I think 5 weeks ago we had no injuries after the Dundee game. Then our national player left the club. Then they come back with injuries, and of course now with the running games. It happens. I think it's a little bit from everything. A lot of games, of course, we increase our intensity, but we have also good news. Mikey is back. That was a good signal. I think this is also good when we focus on the good parts. But he is a player what we have managed well now, that we cannot risk again a big injury. I think this is really about job sharing at the moment. Let's see tomorrow who starts and who is then available from the bench.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy az izomsérülés mellett minek köszönhető ez a sok sérült, esetleg a stílusváltás miatt, vagy a több futás miatt. A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy ha tudnám, akkor nyilván már változtattam volna. Ezen 5 héttel ezelőtt nem voltak sérültjeink, aztán elmentek egyes játékosok a válogatottba játszani, utána is sok sérülésünk volt. Úgy gondolom, hogy nyilván a sok meccs, illetve a terhelés is sokat számít, de próbálunk ezzel annyira foglalkozni, amennyire csak lehet. Nagyon örülünk annak például, hogy Márki visszatért, az ő esetében nagyon kell ügyelnünk arra, hogy ne sérüljön újra le, úgyhogy ezeket is mind figyelembe kell vennünk.
With these being 3 must-win games in the Europa League, how much belief do you still hold that you can progress in this competition?
I always believe that we can do something. I think this is important to understand, that we know where we are at the moment in this competition. You cannot allow one more defeat if you really think about to come through the next round. I think this is important to understand. Also important to understand that we go in such a game tomorrow to win a game. And then let's see what happens step by step. I think if you look to the progress since I'm here, we lost the first 3-0, then the second 2-0, the last one we played a draw, and maybe if you continue this row, we have the first good result, what we want.
A Kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy már csak 3 olyan mérkőzés van itt az Európa Ligában, amiket mind meg kell nyerni ahhoz, hogy lehessen abban reménykedni, hogy tovább jutnak. A vezetőedző pedig azt mondta, hogy nyilván tudnunk kell, hogy állunk nemzetközileg, ettől függetlenül mindig is hinni kell magunkban és hinni a győzelemben, és természetesen nem engedhetünk meg magunknak még egy vereséget, de úgy gondolom, hogy lépésről lépésre haladunk, hogyha megnézzük, mióta itt vagyok az első meccsen, 3-0-ra kaptunk ki, utána 2-0-ra, utána volt egy 1-0-ás eredmény, hogyha ez így halad, akkor eljutunk a jó eredményekig is.
Dan, you get some good news this week in the sense that Mohamed Diamande won't be going off to AFCON and be available for you over the Christmas period, but I suppose it's not so good news for him. Is the challenge for you and for Mohamed to get him back to his best levels so that next time these competitions come around?
Of course, yeah, of course. I think this is. I spoke today with Nasser. Yeah, on one side you are happy that he can go to this competition. On the other side, you are happy that he, or you are happy now that Dio can stay. I think this is always both. But of course, it's the job. I think so far, when I look now to some players in the last 4 or 5 weeks, they make steps forward. Some players make bigger steps forward, some players smaller steps. But of course, it's the challenge that we have a lot of national players. They go for the country and play for something. And because if we improve our players, then we have also a better team.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy mit gondol arról, hogy Diamande rendelkezésre áll majd a következő időszakokban is. A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nyilván annak örülök, hogy ő például marad, de például Nasser nem lesz elérhető, hiszen a nemzeti válogatottjában fog játszani. Úgyhogy az elmúlt 4-5 hétben lehetett látni, hogy egyes játékosoknál hol miben léptünk előre, ezt szeretnénk folytatni. Nyilván azt jelenti, hogy ha sok válogatott játékosunk van, az egy jó dolog, de mindenkinek meg kell nézni, hogy mi az, amiben még fejlődnie kell.
We heard from you the weekend about how you sat with Bojan and you managed to get the best out of him. Is that the big challenge for you now? Is much on the training field that it's the sit down head to heads with your players and try to get into their heads to get the best out of them mentally? Is that something you would have to do with Dio in terms of managing his own disappointment at this, missing out in AFCON?
Yeah, general, I think when we look to Bojan, if a striker scores 2 times, I think it helps a lot for the confidence. I always said this to my strikers at the beginning, I'm always looking for a striker who can score. I think this is very important. Sometimes it goes easier, sometimes you have to work hard. Never it comes from just one moment. You have to keep going, you have to invest, you have to try everything well. And then step by step to give them minutes, a belief, and then is also take the responsibility and the opportunity for a player. I think that's also important. I think a lot of players got so far some minutes and opportunities, and then it's step by step to deliver. I think even when you look a little bit back to the last game, we won 3-0, but not everything was perfect. I think after a victory you can be more critical than after defeat sometimes, because it's also important to understand next weeks are very crucial for us. It starts tomorrow and then we have big games ahead in the league, and I think then at the beginning of January we know where we are at the moment, and this is of course we have to do everything. We have to develop us, we have to deliver, and we have to make the next steps. I said this after the game. I think after the 2-0, this 10-15 minutes we were really dominant in both directions. This was what I liked at the end of the game. It's also about game management. We allowed then some counter-attack moments, what we shouldn't in such a game, bring it home. But it will come more and more. When you see the clips now and as well the games, then you see more and more phases where I see it goes in the right direction. Even I know in the development you will have always some small setbacks, and this is what we have to try to make them smaller and smaller and have bigger step forwards.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, thanks for that, folks. I'm sure everybody was learning Hungarian there as we were listening to that. Should have probably stopped that earlier on, Bridgeman, instead of just the English, French and German. Should have probably learned Hungarian. Who do you think, AK?
Very
could be
good,
a
Stacey.
translator, eh?
You really are brilliant tonight. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up. On you go. I'm sorry, guys.
No. You know, I don't even know where to start that translator man done my nothing. I was just constantly listening to that. I forgot half the things they said, to be perfectly honest. AK, the players that haven't travelled, what do you think?
Well, I think Bajrami, has picked up a muscle injury. I think he tried to expand on his answer, like say Cornelius, Sandman, Suter, on internationals. You know, so the amount of games that we're playing, i.e. domestic games, cup games, international games and European games, it's catching up with all these players, mate. And there's got to be a serious rethink of the calendar, because when it's starting to hurt teams and you've got your better players on the sidelines because of these muscle injuries and fatigue, basically. Man City suffered last year with the absence of Rodri for most of the season. And I think that the year before, when Man City won the lot and Spain then wins the Euros, I think the guy played something like 76 games in that calendar year, which is a hell of a lot of football, mate. So I think that's what our manager's referring to.
Aye, the amount of football we're playing now, Bridge, and especially with internationals and the ones that were played for the World Cup qualifiers. And if you look at it, you've got the AFCON tournament starting between Christmas and New Year. For players that are playing for their clubs throughout Great Britain, you're certainly playing a lot of football these days, and it's easy why players are picking up muscle injuries and whatever. They talk about the red zones and that for the sports science. John Souters twice, I think, been away for Scotland, come back to us and been injured. So it's a problem for the players, and maybe we'll have to look at sometimes when we're recruiting players where we're actually going to be recruiting them from, and seeing if they've got a heavy schedule in international games and that, because it doesn't benefit the club if players are away all the time in international duty, the amount of football that they're playing these days.
Well, I think if you just think when you're going to see somebody interested in getting them, and you ask the questions of the club, well, you know, is he injured? Or ask the player, do you get injured a lot? Or look at his record, does he get injured a lot? You know, and I'm sure you start to find things out. As soon as you start to do a bit of investigation, the club might not like it, but as sure as shooting, it'll come out. And we seem to get a lot of players from abroad, and I think it's just I don't think it's just, but I think it's unfortunate from a Glasgow Rangers perspective that when we get them, it's nearly always near the end of the window, and our, shall we say, pre-season training has been started and done probably in a lot of cases, and we need to get our players and we need to get them in the door to get a pre-season and start to getting used to what Scottish football's about. Because, you know, you're getting players, and unfortunately for them, we're asking them to play 3 games a week, you know. You don't even know if they're fit, you know. It's just mental. You haven't seen them on at Auchenhowie or in, and they come in the door and been over in South America, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's no good to us, you know. That's the way I feel about it. We've got to, somehow or other, we've got to know, surely in today's world, we can get a good somebody giving a good interview with a player and finding out if in fact is he injured, is he carrying injuries, has he been carrying injuries, that kind of thing. There's lots of people that can ask these questions, and if we're not doing that, then there's something wrong.
I think probably we do your homework to a point, but players can pick up injuries at any time. I understand that, whether it's during the game, training, when they go in international duty. Sometimes I think AK that managers train them slightly different. We've seen that problem before in the past, where players that were trained heavy when they were trained differently when they were at the club to keep them fit. But it's part and parcel of international football. When you're selling a player, if he's got international caps and that, it usually bumps the transfer fee up. So you're in a catch-22 usually. You want the players to have caps, obviously, when you're selling them, because it does put the price up to the player. He's an international football player. But at the end of the day, players are playing a lot of games nowadays throughout that calendar window. And when you've got a World Cup coming up, you'll probably find a lot of players that come back for this World Cup when they've played the majority of the season already. I'll be pretty burnt out by the time the league campaign starts. Europe starts back early as well, and these players just don't get any time for a rest, do they, really?
No, you're right, pal. It's a double-edged sword, as you say. I mean, you do want them having international experience because it proves a pedigree as a player. If they're good enough to play with their country, that means they must play at a pretty decent level in the first place, obviously depending on what sort of country, but certainly international experience will not hinder them. But I listen that you go back, 40 years or so, you used to win a European tournament and maybe play about 12 games or something. Back in the 60s, it was less than that. You'd only let 16 international teams going to a World Cup. Now they're expanding it up to, what is it now, 64. They've got these National League, Nation League things and all that, and it's just getting ridiculous now. You're asking these players to play at a high level for as long as what you're a European tournament now. You're talking about 30 odd games between the Europa League, the Champions League, and then you've got all your domestic matches. I mean, it's a hell of a lot of games, mate, and it's no wonder that a lot of players are falling by the wayside. And even if you do a lot of due diligence on a player there, Bridge, it's not to say that they've had that amount of games previously at their club or international or that, if they weren't getting well deep into tournaments, that they maybe only played about 40, 50, maybe 60 games a season. Now you're surplus of 70 odd games in a calendar year, which is a hell of a lot to put on your calendar and onto your legs and onto your muscles, and obviously as you get older as well, Southside, the fatigue is going to catch up with you eventually. I mean, is that the reason why we've basically had Tavernier basically injury free for as long, and Connor Golson before him, because they weren't playing international things,
There might be a wee factor in that, AK. They did play a lot of games, don't get me wrong. If you looked at their calendar and what they were playing a season, back then, Golson and Tav, they never really supposedly hit this imaginary red zone that they talk about. But they were playing games like the Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. They were constantly playing them throughout the season. And you probably have to take players out. I think, Bridge, you've got to take them out from time to time to try and keep them fresh. But maybe the fact that they too, is using them as an example, although they did play a heavy schedule of games, but maybe the fact they didn't play international games, didn't do the travelling away for the international games, possibly helped them when it came down to international duty. But if you look at the short spell that they've played there, they played September, October, November, and that was you to decide if you're going to a World Cup or no. Then the playoffs are in March, if your country got there. But over 3 months, they played the group to get you to the World Cup, Bridge. When you're obviously playing internationals and you're playing European games and you've got your league games, and there's also some cup games involved in that. I know players get paid handsomely in that, and they should be able to sort of handle the workload, but obviously you're more likely to carry these muscle injuries or pick these up strains and muscles and stuff, wear and tear, as we say, over a period of time. And like I say, it's a modern day game of football now, Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, and so it should be, of course. But I've just got a sneaking suspicion what we should be doing, and I don't know whether any of you guys would agree with us. When in any club, when they buy a player in, and they kind of get them fit to play football within a certain period, and let's say it's 6 weeks. So from the time he comes in the door, of course, if he's carrying an injury from his previous, then that we'll know about that, and should be getting treated for it anyway. I'm talking about you're bringing them in the door and they're supposedly fit, right? So you bring them in the door, and I reckon if they're no fit in 6 weeks, send them back. And I think that should be a ruling worldwide. If they're no fit, send them back. Obviously, I don't mean take into account that they've been injured and they're recovering from an injury or what. We've got to work with that. But someone says that if they signs a contract with our club and he says, right, I'm 100% fit, and he can't play football 6 weeks later, or full pelt. Sorry, I think it's crazy. We've got players at Ibrox now on our books, and they've been there for, I don't know, maybe getting on to 2 years that we haven't seen them playing. They just can't play. And I don't know whether you and AK think that they're pulling the wool or what they're doing, but I certainly don't think so. These players are 100% fit to play football. Professional, you need to be 100% fit to start a game, and then you maybe get 3 or 4 games before you start to feel that bit of fitness properly. And that's no good. For teams like clubs like ours, that's no good. I'm not being funny when I say it, so please forgive me. I may be stepping out of turn with this, but that's the way I feel. I feel that Rangers, there should be a notification at the authority level, i.e. the SFA or whatever it is, UEFA, and it says if you sign a player and there's no sign of injury, but for some reason or other he can't play that level of football, then you should be able to send them back to the club he should have got them from. Sorry.
Aye, I think it might work with loan players. Players need to be match fit as well. I mean, you can train, but if you're not playing a regular amount of games, AK, and you're not playing week in, week out to a point, then you end up losing match sharpness. Probably you can still keep your fitness levels to a point, but all players want to play. They train all week to play at the weekend, or they train at the weekend and during the week to play during the week games. If you can take your squad to a point, which it needs to be a good squad, and they all need to be fighting for places. It's just unfortunate for us now that we've got players that don't really have much competition in the actual position. Although we've had to bring players in because of the injuries that we've had and we've still got. That's the only reason why we've started to rotate players. Otherwise, you'd probably find somebody like Fernandes would probably still be out our team. I still think he would have to rotate going forward, AK, in time, but I think somebody like Fernandes probably would have still been maybe looking in for the outside, because Cornelius and that, if he'd been fit, would probably have still been playing.
I agree with you there, pal, but as you said though, that's the whole point of having a squad, isn't it? And if a player drops out through injury or suspension, then it's up to somebody to be ready-made to come in and cement that place and impress themselves and hold on to the jersey for as long as they can. So it is a squad game now. The days of you used to play with 12, 14, 15 players for an entire season seems to be long gone, and that's just down to the amount of games that you have to play. So you've got to juggle it and utilise your squad as best as you can, and that's where the manager comes into play. Who's in for them? Who do they feel that is near the red zone and needs a couple of days, a couple of weeks rest or whatever it is? But in a couple of weeks you could play upwards of 4 or 5 games, So it's a big chunk out of your season where you're actually intentionally, weakening your team a wee bit just to look after another player. But it depends on the calibre of player that's coming in. But this is the beauty of having recruitment and squad, and where do you go for your recruitment as well. And I think that's where we've missed a trick. A lot of the Scots players, or the players in the Scottish League, have been overlooked for other players in other leagues, and they've proved that they can't cope with the robustness of the Scottish game. So I think we've got to be a wee bit cuter and wiser about where we're doing we're recruiting for now on, mate.
Hey, if you two guys would like to hit me out, I think we're going to hear the second part of the interview now.
We heard from you at the weekend about how you sat with Bojan and you managed to get the best out of him. Is that the big challenge for you now? Is
as much on the training field, it's the sit down head to heads with your players and try to get into their heads to get the best out of them mentally. Is that something you're going to have to do with Dio in terms of managing his own disappointment at this, missing out in AFCON?
Yeah, general, I think when you look to Bojan, if a striker scores 2 times, I think it helps a lot for the confidence. I always said this to my strikers at the beginning. I'm always looking for a striker who can score. I think this is very important. Sometimes it goes easier. Sometimes you have to work hard. Never it comes from just one moment. You have to keep going. You have to invest. You have to try everything well. And then step by step to give them minutes, a belief, and then is also take the responsibility and the opportunity for a player. I think that's also important. Yeah, I think a lot of players got so far some minutes and opportunities, and then step by step to deliver. I think even when you look a little bit back to the last game, we won 3-0, but not everything was perfect. I think after a victory, you can be more critical than after defeat sometimes, because it's also important to understand next weeks are very crucial for us. It starts tomorrow, and then we have big games ahead in the league. And I think then, at the beginning of January, we know where we are at the moment. And this is, of course, we have to do everything. We have to develop us. We have to deliver. And we have to make the next steps. I said this after the game. I think after the 2-0, this 10-15 minutes, we were really dominant in both directions. This was what I liked at the end of the game. It's also about game management. We allowed then some counter-attack moments, what we shouldn't in such a game, bring it home. But it will come more and more. When you see the clips now and as well the games, then you see more and more phases where I see it goes in the right direction. Even I know in the development you will have always some small setbacks, and this is what we have to try to make them smaller and smaller and have bigger step forwards.
Danny, it's been reported that the club are speaking to John Souttar about a potential new contract. How highly do you rate John, and how important is it to you that you get that tied up?
Yeah, at first the good thing is as a head coach, you have a lot of people around. They can think and can sort of the contract situation. I think this is helpful. I think general, since I'm here, John was one of the core of the team. He helped us. He has experience in this league. He knows what it means to play Tuesday, Wednesday night in Kilmarnock or something like this. I think this is also important to understand. He knows what it means to play for Rangers. And important is that we have also in the future some players that are a core of a group. They are leaders and they have experience one. And I think around this core you can building up some players, some young, exciting players. I think this is also important. But I think for me it's the full group important. Let's see now in which direction it goes. I think this is a signal from our side. All the other things will then sort the club. Hopefully he comes back soon. We know our situation with the centre back, especially then when Nasser leaves as well. Hopefully we can bring Duchamp now for some minutes, that he is ready really to go in the final weeks. And for this we do everything at the moment, and we move forward.
Danny, do you know yet if Nasser will be able to play against Hibs?
It looks like this, that he is available. If he plays, we will see. It depends. But the next 2 games he should be here. But after the Hibs games he will leave, definitely. I think this is the part at the moment.
Can I just ask about Dujon, Danny? How much did you know about him before you got here? Does it feel like it's a new player for you? How excited are you to have him available?
Yeah, I think this is a good question. Normally, when you arrive, then you need really impression on the pitch. You need bigger pitches. You need game time, and I heard a lot of good things from him. I see him in the training session, and yeah, he's a special guy. I must say this. I think he's brave enough. He knows what it means, but it's also important that his body is ready. I think this is at the moment, I will not say a question mark, but after such a long injury without the game, then the first games are a little bit rusty. And this is important that we get him as soon as possible in a good shape, that he can go 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. And I think tomorrow, he will get some minutes. I have to sleep when he gets the minutes. But of course, this is now the next step, that we have him available for the next 3 weeks or longer, hopefully longer. But hopefully then the players come back, that they have more choices.
Last one, Al.
Yeah, Danny, hi. You spoke about John Souttar's leadership qualities. I think there's a feeling that maybe that what has been lacking at Rangers for a while has been maybe not enough leaders on the pitch and in the changing room, perhaps. Do you feel that maybe the club does need more people like John Souttar, and is that something you would try and address in January if possible?
In general, I think for me it's about the balance. You need in some positions a good group of leaders. When I look a little bit back to my time in Munich, and you have a core like Alaba, Kimmich, Müller, Lewandowski and Neuer, then this is a core. And around this core you can play with exciting young players, but it's good in some phases of the season that you have this stability in some positions. And of course, this is also what we looking for, but it's about the balance. I'm not a coach to just ask for experience and old one. I like also to play with young, exciting players. I think if you take just Mikey Moore, this is an exciting young player. But around these young players, it's good to have players, they understand what it means. And for this, we will build up something, and I'm very positive that we find this balance. And with results and good performances, then we will be growing as a group.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, thanks for that, Fox, and thanks for the edited version as well. That saved us listening to some Hungarian there, Bridgeman, eh?
I better believe it.
Aye, so well done. Aye, come and join us. Give us your viewpoints on the game tomorrow night, and obviously the upcoming league fixtures that we've got. Got a heavy schedule ahead of us. But Bridge, you spoke for a wee bit about John Souttar there, a possible contract extension that we've offered him. He's keen on keeping him in the group and sees him as a leader going forward.
Wow. I don't know. Sorry. I don't see it. I know there's some Rangers fans think he's not too bad. And what I do think he's to me, his best part of his game is he's good at getting good blocks in. That to me, that's about all he's really good at. Other than that, you see him sometimes he can run into the opposition half, but when he's in there, there's nobody behind him, and so on and so forth, just causes mayhem. And I don't think he's the best football player in the world by a long way. So for me, no chance. Let a lad finish his contract and go his own way. Don't get us involved with him again, please. In my opinion.
Oh, you're a harsh man. But you're a good judge because you used to play that position. Listen, I think Souttar was basically brought as an understudy for Connor Golson. We hopefully develop him into kind of a mainstay of Connor Golson. I mean, I wasn't a big Connor Golson fan. Sometimes, but not all the time. And I think the big man, he was robust, he was available, and he certainly done his job. You know, that season where we won the league, he was certainly a big part of that. He was a voice. He was the guy that was organising the back line. I mean, I don't see Souttar in that sort of mould. But if we keep Souttar, maybe he's thinking of him more as a squad player, and hopefully we bring in, two better centre halves that he's going to be an understudy to, because obviously with his injury that he had at Hearts before he came to us, how long is he going to be available for? He's dipped out there now. Is that down to the amount of games that he's playing with international? Is he getting the contract and the proviso that he gets to play in the World Cup or be part of a World Cup squad? But after that, Rangers has got to be your number one focus. Rich?
Was that the last bit you said there, pal? The last bit?
I'm just thinking out loud, pal. Is Suter going to be an understudy? Maybe so. And obviously, if Rangers is going to offer him a contract, then I think he has to step away from his Scotland duty. He gets to play in that World Cup squad, be part of a World Cup squad this year, but is he getting offered a contract and a proviso that he steps away from it and Rangers is his number one priority?
For me, forgive me once again, I think the only thing our manager and whomever else in the club is thinking they would offer him a new contract is because he's a Scottish captain or gets Scottish caps and plays international football. One of the few people that play for Scotland, and from our squad's perspective, personally, I think he's empty. I think he's empty. In my honest opinion, and I agree with you. The wee bit you said at the very start, for me, he's come in as a backup or a wee reserve for our centre backs, and he would be able to slip in there for an injury, and he would get maybe 5 or 6 games in a row doing that. However, he's got more, and he got himself a really good place in the Rangers team, but I don't think he's got any of the qualities that we require for the job we're asking him to do. And for never to be a captain, never a captain in his life. But there you go.
Well, it's all about opinions, Bridge. It's all about opinions. He also went on to speak about Giga. He thinks he's going to be part of. I'm not sure about it's confirmed yet or no, but I think he's been named in his country's squad for the AFCON. But he's hoping that he's available for Hibs on Monday next week before he goes. So we're bare bones in the centre back position now. So we've got to go with Giga and Fernandes for as long as possible. But he also touched on Dujon Sterling. Very near to come back to fitness, and he sees him playing a big part in the next 2-3 weeks as well, particularly the heavy schedule we've got. Rich?
Do you think we'll get Dujon Sterling fit enough to be on the park? I'm wondering if he'll be. I mean, match fit. He's a big athletic guy, and I'm sure he'll just loves playing football like most people did at that age. It means a lot to him to be able to play. I don't see it with John Suter. I'm sorry. I do apologise, Steve. I just don't see it with him. I don't think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Let's put it that way. There are a few people who are a lot better than him. I'll say it again. I don't think Rangers should be thinking about giving him an extension. I don't think he's worth it. We've let better players go and complained about them. And here we're going to bring. I think he's got a great. I think he's got a great job with the Rangers, and he's not doing a great job. I think he's got a great job with the Rangers and getting a lot of money for it. That's all I could say.
Well, do you think when Giga goes away and if Suter's still injured, would it not be if NCL doesn't get a chance? AK would not be well putting Tav in there. It's not a great idea, but it's going to be better playing Tav if NCL isn't getting a chance. But if nobody else fit, Aaron's where we want Colin can go to right back, and you could have Tav playing on the right hand side at centre back next to Fernandes temporarily.
It's certainly an option, mate, isn't it? Tav has proved his agility, that he can go in there. He can deputise in there, no problem. To be fair to Tavernier, any time he has went into the centre back role, he's not been, too exposed, shall we say. And Aarons he's more a defensive kind of full back anyway, so he's not going to leave him kind of too exposed. But listen, it's just juggling the squad as and when the manager sees fit. I'm sure the Sterling coming in and making himself available will solidify the back line as well, because I don't think we're going to be seeing Cornelius that soon by the sounds of his injury. So we've just got to juggle it as best as we can. But we've got the Windy coming up, but we've got a few big important league games coming before that, Southside.
Aye, well, I think, listen, I know Danny Roll's going to be judged when he gets his own players in and the club get him signings that he wants, but you can still sort of judge him on who he's picking in certain games of late. And I know we've been limited to players, Bridgeman, but as I said there, Giga's looked a bit of a bomb scare. He's going to be going away now for the AFCON. So we have to start replacing. So he will be judged on who he puts in the team. And would it be more beneficial to play Tav on the right hand side, or would it be better to move Fernandes there temporarily until we do these run of games, until we can see if we can get a reinforcement at centre back in? Because at the end of the day, he's going to be judged on the decisions that he makes now. So would you prefer to see Enciala come in and play left-hand side and move Fernandes, or do you think because of the experience and he can play on the right-hand side, even if it's temporary, would it be better to play Tav there with Aarons at right back? Does that strengthen the team? Because Sterling certainly doesn't like playing centre-back in any way, shape or form. He's already told you that. So to utilise Sterling and bring him back into the team on a temporary basis, you would either need to bring him in at either the two full-back positions or give him a wee bit of game time in the midfield, which I don't think is great either, but to get him some game time, they're about the only three positions I can see where you could really bring him in and play him, where he'd be more comfortable.
Do we not even have one really tall young guy playing for the youth team? Anywhere, any one of our youth teams, we've got two, I don't know. But we don't get any.
No, at the moment, Bruce, no.
I can't understand that. We're supposed to be able to be picking up the creme de la creme in Scotland, yeah, and bringing them into Auchenhowie and letting them run through along with the first team and let them go on. I don't know. I don't mean it every single day, but let them run through, give them experience, and bring them on. But we've got to go abroad all the time, or go to Hearts and get a John Suter. I'm sure we could find somebody in Scotland, a youngster that can play as good football as John Suter can at centre half. I don't know where we're going to get him, so I'm just talking, you know. I just don't understand it. But we're going to have to get centre halves for sure. We'll get Enciala there, and I think Enciala is quite a good player. But how he's responded from the wee injury he had, to make sure he's getting match fit and so on and so forth, we need to wait and see. I hope it all works out for him. I like to see the boy. I'd play him at the left side of centre back with Big Fernandes. I would do that. But I also think that I think he'd be a smashing left back. You know, I do think that would be a good left back in Ciala. But you've got to give him time to settle in and things like that. You've got to make sure, and you're going to do your training based on the way you want the team to be, and let's go on with it. That's the way I feel.
Aye, good bring him in. He has made mistakes. He's still young. He's raw. AK, we had the usual one where Gogic shot. People thought we should have went and signed him and maybe try to get him in the door. He is about 34, 35 maybe now, I think. Still think he'd have done a job. He understands the game. He's been in Scotland long enough. He's been at Hibs as well. He's been at St Mirren, where he is at the moment. So he knows the game. But we should, the last one that we had, Bridge on the books, that we sort of developed him into a centre-back who has been on now and played at Kilmarnock for probably the best part of 1.5, maybe 2 seasons now. Derek McInnes took him with Lewis Mayo that we had, but he couldn't break in because Golson was playing every week. But he's been on and played virtually every game for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, but I also can I just interject just a wee bit. Playing for Kilmarnock isn't the same as playing for Rangers. I know that they're a good team, and they normally get a good team, and it's all the same type of coaching. But really and truly, Lewis Mayo was played not too bad for us, but he was never a star. For me and people that watched him, I know he was never a star. Good player, but whether he would actually have went on and made it as a big headliner for Rangers, I don't know. I don't think he got the chance for it because you mentioned there with Goldson and another in there. So very difficult for a boy to break through. But if he went to Kilmarnock and he's doing quite well, then good luck to him. But I don't think he's a Rangers centre half.
I get that it's two different animals when you're playing at Kilmarnock and that, but you've got to play regular or get some game time. They're hard positions, AK, for young players to fill. Centre back position, as I said. When was the last time we brought through a striker? You know, but you'll be virtually no chance of being a Rangers youth player and coming through and getting a regular starter. And the Rangers first team, it's a hard position to break into. And you find that sometimes with goalkeepers and all. And Mason Munn, as much as he's a decent goalkeeper and he's looked good, he's out at Dunfermline now gaining experience. Maybe a future of being a Rangers goalkeeper. So that's what we've got today. But some of the young boys have got to bide their time, but you've got to try and bud them as well and give them a chance. Anyway, hold on a minute. I think we've just been joined by Ross. How you doing, Ross?
All right, brother. What you saying?
Aye, all right, mate. What do you want to mention tonight? What do you want to talk about, pal?
It's just about, obviously, the Rangers getting tomorrow. What are you thinking? We're going for a win or we're going for another draw?
I think we need a win, Ross, but I'll put across to AK first and then you can come back, Ross, and see what you think yourself, AK.
Evening, Ross. Listen, Rangers go to win. All right, pal. Rangers go to win every game. They've got thousands travelling, so it wouldn't be right if they didn't go for a win. Whether we pick one up or no is another matter. But listen, they've got a certain manager who used to play with them, so do some damage, Rangers, if you can.
Honestly, mate, see Rangers in there, I don't know what's happening, mate. Honestly, this new manager, I thought we'd see a full change.
Things have started to change, Ross, in the league games for us, to be honest. It's apart from the two games, Falkirk and Dundee United, we should be 4 points better off and we'd be closer to the top two in the table if we'd picked up the points. He is working with players that we know we'd probably get shift a few of them out the door, Ross, if you're honest. You know?
Definitely.
And he's trying to change the philosophy and the minds of the players who, under Russell Martin, had to play a certain way and, had to play a way of football, which didn't really work out at all, did it? You seen it yourself, Ross, throughout the season. We were diabolical under Russell Martin. So he's trying to change that. In the league, apart from Falkirk and Dundee United, where we probably should have won the games, I think it's down to the players that he's working with at the moment, Ross, that's letting the support done.
I was going to ask you, what about Old Davy? Was Old Davy not getting a hit then? Is he at the hospital now?
Old Davy, I was talking to him there the other day, mate.
I've just wanted to see.
He's out and about.
I can't say like that. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Davy. I hope you got a fast recovery, mate. We get you back on the radio, mate.
He's been on the odd time, Ross. He's been on. He's popped on to talk to everybody. But that's good. Thanks very much for saying that. You'll appreciate that, Ross. Thanks very much for that.
Give Davey a wee Christmas song before we go out, or a wee Rangers song, just thinking about him.
It's nearly his birthday, as he tells us on. He reminds us also, it'll not be long in January. It's his birthday, you know. Even though other people have got birthdays before then, but Davey will. Davey, on you go, bro. On you go, Ross.
I just want to say, come on, the Rangers. Let's get into these people tomorrow. We are the people, no surrender.
Brilliant, Ross. I'm sure we will. I'm sure the players will get stuck in tomorrow.
All right, that's what I've got to say to you, brothers.
All right, Ross. Thanks very much,
all right,
mate.
Bro.
Right, bro. Good to hear you. See you later on, Ross. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, boss.
Aye, there'll be a few thousand travelling tomorrow. Left today and travelling tomorrow morning. I know one or two of the boys left and arrived there on Monday. And it's a lot of expense and stuff, and they go and follow the Rangers, so it's down to the players to make sure that they put a performance on for everybody that travels there tomorrow. And it's just to put us back on the map, Bridgeman, because in Europe we've been really poor and we've played poor teams. The only decent team we've played, I think, is Roma. Everybody we've played, and I suppose you get flung in the deep end against Brann. He was only in the door less than 48 hours and he had a game to play. But since then, we should have picked up more points than what we have, apart from probably Roma.
Yeah, I can't say anything different to what you're saying. It's superb to hear you say it. I think we're just seriously Rangers players. I'm sorry, there's not enough quality there to be able to do what we've done a couple of years ago. We were doing really well in Europe, going great long runs and bringing a lot of money in. We're not going to be doing that, not for much longer anyway. We were going, so you know, I don't think we've got any. We've said it the other night. We were saying, who have we got in the squad that could turn the game for us or anywhere? There's nobody many. There are a few that can do it, as we saw against Kilmarnock. But it has to be running for you, and you have to be quite quick when you're doing it. You manage to turn things over. You've got to get some speed into it. So the manager's got to come up with the players that are playing well and have got some speed about them, and we can do certain things. But really, we've been poor. We have been very poor in Europe, and a big disappointment. Big disappointment. A lot of bears is and you've got to feel for people like yourselves outside that have been travelling, and all the lads that go, and the follow is there. Provide a team that's got to give us something to be proud of, and the fans will turn up for you. That's what we've always been like. I'm afraid this year it's not been that great. I just don't think so anyway.
No, it's a lot of time to travel. You get time off work and stuff. So we keep saying on here, and people make a lot of sacrifices and takes off your holidays when you're maybe trying to book some family holidays and stuff like that. And a lot of trips come thick and fast, AK, over a period of time, and it's expensive, but you hope that when you do travel and you go abroad, that you see a Rangers win first and foremost.
Oh, absolutely. But don't be telling any lies now. You're there for the beer. And then
that always helps, I know. That always helps, I know. The beer, doesn't it? You need a beer to watch Rangers, I know, mate. You need a beer.
It's hard to watch them sober.
A beer and a double vodka. It's certainly what you need.
No, but listen, Bridgeman's right. I mean, guys like yourself and thousands like you spend a fortune. I've got a good pal of mine travels all around Europe for the Larkhaw True Blues, and he'll know about be heading out to Hungary already if he's not there already with his daughter. But he spends tens of thousands watching Rangers all over. So fair credit to all the Bears that make the effort to watch them and follow them all around Europe and all over Scotland, and they continue to do that. You know, it's in their DNA, and they just want to see a winning team out in the park and give them something to be proud of. As Bridgeman says, we've had some good European nights over the recent years. Borussia Dortmund comes to mind, you know, games of that ilk. So this year's been a major disappointment, not just for the support, but our new owner as well. And it's good to see Andrew Kavanagh be a bit more hands-on in the last few weeks, and hope to rectify, you know, all the kind of problems that we've had. I think he's recognised that the, you know, recruitment, Patrick Stewart and our director of football and our former manager wasn't good for our club, and obviously reflected in the results and also our recruitment. And I think he's got to, you know, make amends to the support, and I think he's still keen to do that. It was good to hear he was in attendance in the Christmas night suit at Ibrox and Edmondson House last week and speaking to support as well. So he's keen to do that. But we're up for the tune now, guys.
Yep, it sure is, and it'll not be George Ezra singing Budapest anyway, that's for sure. But so if you want to go on mute, we'll hear what Fox has got in store for us this evening.
Well, I took a trip to Ibrox, my favourite team for to cheer, where they were playing the Glasgow Celtic on the first day of the year. Now the ground was filled to capacity as the teams come out to play. The animals sang the soldiers' song, and the people sang Dolly Gray. Now half-time it came and went, and the Glasgow Celtic were in the lead. Finian Tully was drowning everywhere, shaking his rosary beads, while the green flags they were flying high. Celtic hearts were full of pride. The second half, sure it started, and the Rangers, they turned the tide. Won't you play up the Glasgow Rangers? Oh, play up the boys in blue. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. We're here to cheer for you. Now the ball goes out to Walker, and from 30 yards he did score. Sure you couldn't hear your ears at Ibrox Park for the sash my father wore. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. Sammy Cox is on the ball. He slips it through to Willie Woodbarn, then on through to Ian McCall. McCall to Billy Simpson. Oh, here come the boys in blue. Well, Simpson beats the Celtic centre half, and in goes number 2. Now the Rangers fans are roaring. Jardie Young, he takes a free onto the head of William Simpson, and then goes number 3. Well, it's 3-1 for the Rangers. That was the final score. A happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Fenians once more.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, okay, like a tune, Rappaw on the YouTube channel requested it, and the Foxy boy done a wee request tonight for him.
Oh, good. Aye, I hope you enjoyed it. Aye, it's certainly good to hear some of the Owens. Aye, well done.
Maybe we can phone in, Rab, and you give us a phone in and we'll have a wee chat, and you can thank Foxy boy if you want. You just need to phone the number, we'll phone you back. It's all free to phone in the show. Or if there's anybody else listening out there, the lines are open. They've been open for a while. If you want to phone in and have a talk to AK or Bridgeman about anything Glasgow Rangers, I'm sure they'll give you their best of knowledge.
Sing up the Glasgow Rangers.
There you go. You maybe even request a song for the bridge, man.
I think he sung that one, did he, though? Go on,
He
Bridge.
did, that's what I was just repeating it.
I'll bring this up. It's probably a wee bit contentious, but I'll bring it up anyway. I believe we'll probably lose with it. The information is we're going to lose 50 tickets for the up and coming game against them across the city, due to the pyrotechnics that was at the game on Saturday night. So I believe it. I think we're going to get hit with that. It's the next away fixture. And I think the SFA will probably hit us with that sanction, which the club will have to pay for the 50 tickets, AK. What's your thoughts on the pyro?
Well, first and foremost, that's kind of nice of them, isn't it? They picked that game well. Just take 50 tickets off us, but charge them for them anyway. Aye, surprise, surprise. The pyros, I do think they look, good, but see when it's starting to hurt your club, that's when I think the guys need to be a wee bit wiser for me. Been in amongst it, and since COVID, no very great in the breathing stake. So I think the fact the young boy get injured there at the weekend, I think they've just got to be smarter. But having said that, though, see when you have a semi-final or a final at Hampden, does the host no use the pyrotechnics in the build-up and after it and stuff? So if they're saying that to the fans, then they should be stopping it themselves, sort of thing. But I think as a spectacle, I do think that they add something. But when it's coming into the safety aspect, I think we just need to be a wee bit more wiser. I mean, what was the game there? Was it last week or the week before? Firenerd were actually letting rockets off outside the stadium, and they were landing on the pitch. That can be dangerous,
But I think if you were the age of some of the boys that set the pyro off, I'm sure you'd been amongst it with your pyro and all, Bridgeman?
Well, of course, it's a wee while ago. That's just I was that age. But no, I've got great sympathy for the youngsters, and it is a great sight to see when we used to see them when they were in the broom lawn and it was going off. And when we are at Hampden, nearly every time we're at Hampden, it's both ends are letting them off. I don't quite understand why they want to. What are they want to do? They want to stop pyros, and if that's the case, then they should go by example. And I don't know who was it. It was who said it was it. AK said that they should be stopping, but the club's using pyro as a celebration of some description. Maybe it should start there, so there'll be no pyros at all. And if there's any pyros, then we have to go and get them, ban them. That's the only thing you can do.
I think you can. There is pyro you can use that is safe. And I think it's probably a discussion that probably has to be had between the club and that. There's some cracking photos up, and I couldn't actually see the display in the Kilmarnock game at the time, but I've seen photos after it, and it does look good. There's been certain games where it's looked really good. Dundee away, I've got a photo of Tav on the ball that I was saying, and the pyro's all lit up behind it, and it looks good. And I think it's a discussion, because there is pyro you can use, it is safe to use and all that, and I think probably Scottish football has to have a look at it. But at the moment, we know that they're saying it's an offence and whatnot, but you can't take away from it. I think it's a good spectacle. I think it's part of probably the ultra theatre of the world, basically. The Polish use it quite a lot. Teams in Poland and that have had some cracking displays in that. But I just believe that we'll probably lose another 50 tickets, probably going forward because of it. I'll answer just a couple of things. A couple of people on the YouTube channel's been asking where a couple of the panellists are that we have on. Listen, Port Baird does come on from time to time. He's been really busy. Everybody that works at Rangers Radio does this for nothing, right? It's a free platform, it's a free show for you that listen in to phone in, and obviously people have work commitments. So some can come on a wee bit more than others. But Port Bear, it does get on from time to time, but at the moment he's busy, and Big Stevie's the same. Big Stevie used to be on quite a lot with me on a Wednesday night, because Wednesday suited us, but Big Stevie's been busy for the last wee while as well, hence the fact he's not managed to get on the show as much as he would like. So that's just to answer a couple of the people that put the question up there in the YouTube channel. So like I say, AK, I think there is safe pyro out there you can use, and I think probably the club and Rangers should maybe have a discussion about it. I know it's really frowned upon at Ibrox, and I know the UB done it when they were 15 year against Motherwell at Ibrox, and it didn't get done well. But going forward at the moment, I know it's frowned upon, but surely going forward there's a way around about it that might see it happening more often. It's the same with safe standing and stuff. They tell you to sit at your seat at away grounds or Scotland and Europe, but everybody stands. So at the end of the day, you need to find a way around about it, I think.
Oh, definitely. If there's some sort of compromise to be made there, then that's certainly an avenue to look at. And as you say, the supporters in Poland and the domestic games, European games, like Poznan, Legia Warsaw, they're some brilliant displays over the year. Big displays, Serbia, Germany, Croatia. I mean, it's used all over Europe with these ultras, and listen, for the fact that for 2 or 3 minutes, or just to kind of clear the air, sort of thing. If it's safe, and if that's what's causing the kind of the problems, then it certainly should be a discussion to be made. So aye.
It's a tough one, but you must, you all have to agree. It's really tough. The lads love it, and they like to throw up their bangers and goodness knows what. And it's if you talk about the Rangers and Celtic, both ends are the same. They all like it, So I don't know how you're going to get that to stop. Maybe 50 tickets isn't enough. I mean it sincerely. I think it's too much, of course. But if they're going to go down and say, right, every time this happens, you're going to get 50 tickets taken off you for the next big game, blah, 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 then maybe that's a way forward for doing it. And then we've been pleading as Rangers fans, we've been pleading to the lads, you need to cool it down a wee bit, because it will start to affect the club. And maybe that's what's going to happen. It's going to affect the club. The people that run Scottish football, they don't even need this thing to let's go out and punish Rangers. They would punish Rangers when they drop of a hat. It's got no problem at all. But if we're feeding them the ammunition, then they're going to use that against us, 100%.
Aye, and listen, I believe there was an 11-year-old boy injured at Kilmarnock. I don't know the facts or whatever, but I believe somebody got hurt. So I'm not glossing over that as well. I'm going to mention that. Apparently that happened. That 11-year-old boy was injured at Kilmarnock due to the pyro, I believe. But there's 1 or 2 comments on the YouTube. People think it should be banned for good and all that, and that's fair enough. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. People have health problems. There's a lot of smoke it generates and stuff, and it's probably not good for that either. But as a spectacle, when you see it at the other end of a stadium, when your end's lit up, I think it is a good spectacular thing that you can view for the other end. But like I say, everybody's got their opinion on it, and I suppose at the moment the support need to box a bit more cleverer, because, as I say, it's easy to punish and take the tickets per game and whatever game's coming up. And at the moment, some of you might end up getting banned for 5-6 years or whatever it is. It's a criminal offence at the moment, AK. So I suppose going forward at the moment, probably you should stop it, but as I'm saying, if there is safe pyro out there that you can use, and if that's feasible to be used and can be used going forward, then it's maybe a discussion that the club should be having. And if it can be used safely, then why not?
Aye, definitely. But there's enough rockets in Bayer's own here for a ban bridge, man, isn't there?
We get a few, don't we?
There's a few on your head, a man. Never mind anything else.
And that's just the panelists I'm talking about.
I don't fit in that.
Present company excluded.
And I know people will be asking me and stuff like that, and stuff. I know, I get it. But when we're talking about pyro and stuff, I know all that. But as I'm saying, I think if I was their age, I'd probably been taken off. If I was around about their age, it was letting the pyro have. It's just part and parcel in our football culture, I think, AK. But anyway, that going forward.
Can I just say, I sit at Copland Road there, and have done for a long time. And now that they've moved the sort of the Union Bears into the Copland Road, there's amazing the youngsters that are. The old man says, where are they away? They're away down there. They know that they're away down to be close to the Union Bears. You know how they do it, I don't know, but they get in among them and they love it. They just love all this. It's chaos but magic, you know. So I think somewhere along the line we've got to find a way of accommodating that. You know, I don't know if we're going to accommodate all of it or just some of it, but I don't know how we're going to do it. Sorry, guys, but it's amazing to see it.
No, well, obviously we've got a lot of important games coming up in the league. We're going to need to utilise the squad, and obviously the first game coming up on Monday night. It'll be next Monday actually, against Hibs at Ibrox. The start of this 7-game run over the December and into the festive period. And we've got 2 games. We finished with 2 games against Aberdeen after the game against them across the city. We've got Aberdeen at home and away. So this run, that next run of games that's coming up, we play St Mirren and Motherwell, Hearts and Hibs, Celtic and Aberdeen twice. We've really got to pick up. You'd like to say we could win all the games, but if we can't win them all, we'd hope to win the majority and maybe draw one if we have to. AK by the end of this run, because we can't be having 2 or 3 draws. It's not going to be beneficial to us going forward.
No, I certainly know where we are in the league. And as you say, when you see the fixtures coming up after the game tomorrow night at Ferencváros, we then come back to Hibs on Monday, as you say, 7:45 kick-off. Then we've got Hearts away, Tynecastle, 21st to 1:30 kick-off. Motherwell at home, 27th. Then St Mirren, 7:45 kick-off. Again, that's at home, and then we go to Celtic Park before the double header with Aberdeen. So there's some tough fixtures in there, but this is what the league's all about, and we've put ourselves in a position where the players have really put us in the position where we were out of the running, so that it's up to them to bring us back into the running, and with a positive run of fixtures with results wise, who knows where we could end up come the turn of the year, mate, and let's hope we're right on the tails of them. But listening to the guys last night and Monday night, it's been a crazy league this year, with both ourselves and Celtic and obviously Hearts being the front runners. And but it's but even though we've been critical of the team, and deservedly so, we're still there. If we can pick up 3 points in the majority of these games, which we hope we do.
But we should be winning all these games in this run of fixtures coming up. But the Forum, it's in with the injury situation and the way we've been playing, and you think you're going to win games, and we should have seen Dundee United off at Tannadice. We should have been beating Falkirk at Ibrox, and we don't, and that's the issue. We should be 4 points in that wee run that we've had better off. We struggled to beat Livingston, so the players in the Forum has got to pick up, and that's what I'm saying. Bridge will the manager be judged more harshly now by the support and who he picks, because players that we know that haven't been producing a performance in a Rangers jersey are still getting picked, or should they still be getting picked by the manager? So do you see him getting judged a bit more harshly going forward, or do you think he's still getting a free pass to work with these group of players until hopefully we can make some, we'll not make a lot of signings I don't think in January, but we'll surely make 2 or 3 that should hopefully be good enough to come in straight away and play in this squad? Bridge. AK?
We're talking away here. Talking away.
Well,
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to say, the way you're speaking there, there's a lot of Rangers fans are feeling I guess similar thoughts about that. As a manager had an easy turn of it up to now, I would say no. I think I don't know how good he is at taking pressure, but he's done no bad up till now in holding himself together. He needs to show the team, the players, that he is the boss, and they have to do X, Y, and Z, and he needs to be able to somehow or other enforce his shall we say, his personality into their game. That's what they need to do, and I'm quite sure the guy can do that. He seems to be doing quite well with the players at the moment, although we fans were quite disappointed with some of our later results there. But going forward, he needs to start demanding, if he's not doing it already, and start to make sure that they understand who the boss is.
I think I've got respect for him, AK. I just, sometimes you wonder when you look at Asgard, who's maybe had a poor game, and then suddenly he's picked again the following game, and you're thinking, why? Diamandi's not been great in certain games, but still been picked. Some might argue that it's probably possibly at the moment, if you look at the squad of recent times, Connor Barron was out the picture. A lot of people would maybe put him in their team at the moment and would still pick Diamandi. I know he's going to be suspended tomorrow night, but I'm talking about in the league games. People might think your strongest midfield then at the moment might be Diamandi, Raskin and Connor Barron. I don't know what you think of that. I think Bezrami deserves a chance, and I think it's good that he's came back into the team. But I liked him as a player. But do you think that they 3 are probably the 3 that most people would go for as a core part of their squad at the moment? They're the 3 best players that we've got?
No, you know I'm a big Diamandi fan, but on this year, no, I don't think he deserves a starting place. I think definitely Barron and Raskin, that's a good foundation in the midfield. You know you're going to get workers in the team, but you need that wee player that that opens the key of the door. Bezrami was doing that. I like young Mikey Moore. I think he's really come on a ton for Danny Rowe entered the building. I think he gives him a freedom in that pitch where he can roam, looking to probe into the opposition defence, and I think he's been a key man. The fact he came on there at the weekend, Kilmarnock scored 2 good goals, although one of them got chopped off, but I think he could be key for the rest of the season and use Barron and Raskin as much as we can. That's where I see it, and the fact that Miovski was on the score sheet, I think there's starting to get that spine of the team that we're kind of looking for. Obviously, we're still missing our key centre backs, but you've got a decent midfield there now. You've got a striker that's starting to score. You've got Jack Butland in goals. So it is just that the 2 centre halves that we're really needing to solidify the rest of the team round about. But for me, the 4-5 players that I would be building my team round about now would obviously be Butland, Raskin, Barron, Moore, Miovski, and you're probably fitting Tavernier in there as well. So they're half a team. That's better than what we were doing a couple of months ago.
Aye, I can go with that. Mikey Moore, obviously, he's shown a bit of form. He's just back for injury. I suppose you've got to find a spot for him in the team. But when you play Raskin and Barron, apart from the odd set piece that Raskin's contributed in, Barron's going to virtually no score you a goal. Diamondi's virtually in the same bracket. You might get one every 15, 20 games if you're lucky, maybe even more than that, half Diamandi. He doesn't score a lot for me either. But if you've got Mikey Moore in there, you might find a spot or a place for Bezrami if you can get the two of them on the park at the same time. Then maybe one of them's got to come out. I don't know, or you maybe try and find a space and take the gas man out because he's not been cutting it either on the left-hand side, and you could maybe put Bezrami out there and Mikey Moore inside on one. I don't know what you think, Bridge, but obviously Lyle Cameron came to Ibrox and could score goals at Dundee and had managed to do that, and you know what type of goals he'll score and where he'll sort of go and play, but he's no a chance under a manager. So at the moment, out of all the midfielders that we've just talked about, there isn't many goals in Barron, even Raskin to a point. I know he's got a few this year, he's got 2 or 3 I think, but he's not a natural goal scorer, and that seems to be a problem where we've lacked this year and last year. We've not got midfielders that come into your team and score a lot of goals.
Absolutely, and it's one of the, I would call it a shame for the Rangers that they're not able to bring out a good midfielder. Why can't they get a good midfield? The guy they brought a young lad up. I can't remember his name now. He can hardly get a game now, unless he's injured, of course. But I think he can't get a game. So the people that were brought in, some of them aren't quite good enough. I think AK mentioned the young boy, AA. What's his name? Oh my God, the boy up there, was it Spurs he's up there?
Mikey Moore.
I thought the last twice I've seen him, he's been absolutely outstanding. Superb, brilliant runs, scoring goals. I'm really pleased with that. And I'm sure that his parent club will be absolutely delighted with his progress. And that's for sure. I don't know whether we'll be able to keep him, but what a player he's turned out to be for me. We need to get players like that. We need to get players like that.
Mikey Moore Tottenham's got him in the high echelons. They believe that he will probably go on and be a Tottenham player, and they probably believe he's going to be a really, really top player for them when they get him back and when they start playing him on a regular basis. If he continues the form he's on and they don't want him back to play him more regular next year, it might be an option for us to try and keep him for an extra season next year. If he's going to keep progressing the way he's going, and they believe he'll probably play for England and whatnot, AK, because he's only 18, turned 18, but Tottenham believe he is that special type of player.
Well, he's certainly starting to show his potential now. I think at the start of the season, Russell Martin was playing him out wide left, and he kept cutting inside, and he was cutting inside to 2, 3, 4 players. So he wasn't making any sort of impact on the game at all. And that was even against Alloa, early in the season. But certainly, for getting that kind of free role and behind it, the front line, he certainly seems to be thriving on that. And if that's where Spurs see him in the future, I think that's possibly where the England under-21s playing, because he scored a hat-trick there not that long ago, so he must have goal involvements there. I think he certainly thrives on that. Boy's a good player, man. For the age he is, a young head and the shoulders. He should be fit enough. Hopefully he's by his injuries woes, and let's see what he can bring to the table. But again, mate, see, when looking at the fixtures, Hibs at home or Tynecastle away just afore Christmas, then Motherwell at home, St Mirren at home before we face Celtic. I think you could be looking at least 10 points out of 12. Hopefully anyway, before we go to Celtic Park, and then a double header with Aberdeen. I think that could put you right on the tails of Hearts and Celtic. Particularly when I had to laugh last night when Jimmy was on and he described the the wee board is a Ouija board. There was a few laughter comments on the people last night, I know.
Aye, listen, Hibs at home, then the Monday night, we should be picking up the 3 points. There's no excuses here. I mean, Hibs will come, we know the sort of way the Hibs play, but we should be beating them at Ibrox and going to Tynecastle, where it'll be a decent atmosphere. They'll probably have a full house there. We're only going to take the 574 supporters that we gave the tickets, and I've been lucky enough to pick up a ticket for every time for Hearts and be that capacity, but it's hard. It's a hard one to get. I've been fortunate enough, and I'm looking forward to Hearts anyway when we get there on the 21st. And I'd like to think that we can pick up the 3 points, which might benefit them underneath us, just above us. But when we get to their stadium on the 3rd of January, we take the 3 points off them there, then it helps us get back up the table again and sit right there. But looking at it, when you were talking about Motherwell and St Mirren, Bridgeman, the games at home, Hibs, Motherwell, St Mirren, and we've got a game against Aberdeen. The games alone, we must pick up maximum points. We must. And like I say, the Hearts away fixture and playing them across the city on the 3rd of January, then we should be looking to beat them as well. And that would really put us right in the mix, considering where we've been since the start of the season, the football that we watched, that the manager was producing with his group of players, to what we're trying to change it round to now. And if we can add in the January transfer window as early as possible and even get players ready to go into that team, even to play them, and then play against Aberdeen straight away, and I think it's a necessity then, and it should help the squad, Bridge.
Oh yeah, we need to be bringing people in. Look, January is going to be, I would imagine, it's going to be a huge window for Rangers, and it's going to be a high pressure because they've got to show that they can bring players in that have better quality, that will be able to run the team, and you know, there's a lot of people forgetting that you need a team full of people they've got their own pride and you know, everything to go, and they're biting, they want to get in there, but at the same time they've got their teammates or their pals and so on and so forth. All these things are they're a must for a football team that's going to win. So you get that winning feeling, and you carry it forward. You build the momentum, and if you know, you can't beat momentum when it's getting you up there. Your energy's high, and you want to win every game. You want to play, and you want to win every game. And if you're not getting a game, you're in champing the manager's door or the coach's door, whatever it is, and you're getting told one way or another you're not getting it, you know, and you've got to start fighting them. I don't mean physically fighting them. You've got to start fighting them to make them recognise you. And it's a tough game. But my goodness, Rangers need to make sure that they've got that type of vigour in their squad. They've got to be there. They've got to have the personality to play football and be a Rangers player, because that's the biggest thing of the lot. How can you be a Rangers player when you don't get that type of personality? Really difficult. You can't be off the pitch. You can't be a real quiet guy like unless you're a real star like Brian Laudrup, who's a very quiet person in general. You know, you're looking for a Brian Laudrup, and he comes out and does his own thing. And we need players that can just come out and do their own thing. That's what we need. Sorry.
No, you're right, Bridge. I think it's going to take probably 3 transfer windows to sort this mess out that Thelwell's left. And I think there's reports that Raskin, Besiktas are considering putting a bid in, or supposedly having a look at him, or maybe making contact with Rangers.
Who's that?
Besiktas supposed to be looking at maybe Raskin.
Yeah.
Supposed to maybe be looking at Raskin. So we'll find out in time in January window when it approaches.
And what about Joe Aribo?
Take Joe Aribo back?
Aye.
I'm never so keen in bringing players back, Bridge. I'll go to AK on it, but I think once you've been at Rangers and you choose to leave, I'm not really that bothered. I'm not that interested. I mean, I take it he's still at Southampton. I don't even know, but I'm guessing. I know he went there. Is he?
Well, the story was that Southampton are going to try and sell him in January window. Get some dosh, you know.
Aye. Well,
That,
I'm not so keen on it. It's worked for one or two players in the past, but it doesn't work for everybody. And I think once you leave your club and you want to go somewhere else, then you go. And after that, I don't really care what they do after that, to be honest. AK, your thoughts on Joe Aribo?
I seen similar as well there, Bridge. Reports for Southampton were looking for $1.5 million, 1.5 mil on him. I don't know what sort of wage he would be on, probably an increase in wage because he went for, what was it? I think it was around about 10 million or something, or maybe less than that. I can't mind the exact price he went for, but we got a good return on our money. It depends on the wage, but as you say, you touched on there, we've had players coming back to us in the past and haven't making a good impact. Off the top of my head, Barry Ferguson, Colin Steen, Richard Gough, Mark Gately, Trevor Stephen, you know, so we have went down that line before. He was a quality player in the years that we did have him. Obviously, things haven't went well for him in Southampton, but we know that he knows the rigours of Scottish football, and you know he knows the expectation of the crowd, and he fits the bill. And could you say that the Asgard, or Ant-Man, or Gassama, or that is better than him? I would dispute that and say that he could still do a job, providing he can back with the form that he left. I mean, let's not forget he scored in a European final as well. You know, so I wouldn't be against that for that sort of price, but it depends on what sort of wage that Joe Aribo commands, and if he gets his career back on track using us for 2 or 3 years, then fine. I would be happy with that, because as I say, the spending £3.5 to £4 million on players who aren't cutting it up here at all is no sitting well with a lot of the support, and I can see that. You know, so I don't think it's that much of us providing. You know, there's nothing underlying there that he's coming to us in the first place.
You missed Sir Stephen Davis, another one that came back, but
Alan McGregor and all.
Aye. It's worked for some, Kenny Miller. It's worked for some, no, but not for everybody. But I can see what you're saying when you look at some of the squad players that we've got, and you think of Joe Aribo, but just because he's not cutting it at Southampton, or they're wanting rid of him. Listen, if players, he might be on a lot more money than what he would be getting at Glasgow Rangers, but if you have ambition and you know what the club's about, and you know the games, the level of games you're playing in, and you're possibly playing in Europe all the time as well to showcase your skills, then you might want to come back. But I'm never so keen, honestly. I'm never so keen on a player. Once a player leaves, they go, and I don't care after that. They just go. I'm not interested in them. You're chose to leave a club where you had everything, or you could have everything, and you want to go to a mediocre team down south and play for them, and that's what he done, basically, in my eyes. And what has he done at Southampton, to be honest? Hee-haw, basically, probably hee-haw. But I don't know, other people have their thoughts on it, and might be some people would be interested in bringing him back. But nah. What do you think, Bridge? Would you bring him back? Would you be keen on bringing him back? Do you think he'd be an asset to the squad in January? Say we could get him in if he was available in January. Do you think he'd be an asset to the squad?
Oh yes, I think a big asset. I think the experience he's gained. He was, remember, he was basically just like a youngster, you know. And he did some marvellous stuff, from great bits of football. Of course, like every other player, he has some bad times when the things didn't come off for him. But I thought he was a smashing player, and he's got that wee bit more experience in playing in the Premiership. It's been good for him. I don't think he's playing the Premiership now. It was with Southampton, and they know, didn't they, wherever they are, Championship. But no, I think we should look. The first thing I heard was we could maybe get him for £1 million. Well, if that's the case, if they're talking about that type of money, then the very first thing we should be doing is knocking on Southampton's door. But we may have to first of all ask Joe Aribo if he would like to come back to Rangers, and then you could make it a challenge. Let's go and do it. Now, it may cost us £1 million, £1.5 million, just for saying sake, but I'm sure you can make up, because he's got, as AK says, he might be on really good money, so you might be able to make that up with a low fee. And the guys that do all the shall we say, the financing, they should be able to work things out there. I think he's a smashing player. I think it's something that we're missing. We've got nobody, I would suggest, nobody with the skills and the ability of Joe Aribo in the team at the moment that would fit the bill, and he can back into Rangers, and I'm sure he could do a great job for us. I don't know whether they ever make captain, for instance, but he looks as if he's good. I liked him. I thought he was a good player, and it's not that long ago he was scoring in the European games, you know.
Aye, he did score Seville. The first goal for us that night. He played in a few positions and stuff, but aye, listen, it might work out, but he's no way getting anywhere near the wages if it's reported he was getting 60 grand upwards. If he is at Southampton, and probably will be, he's not getting anywhere near that coming back to Rangers. So
no, and neither we should.
So I mean, that's a non-starter, but if he feels he would like to come back, and if the club thought he'd be worth pursuing, and he comes back, and obviously being a supporter, you'll support them if that's what the decision of the club is. But I don't think that'll ever happen, to be honest. But just my opinion. But talking about players and squads and that, I'll maybe come to AK and I'll ask him what he thinks his team would be, or what team he thinks the manager will pick. We'll let him decide himself for the game tomorrow night. Obviously we've got Diamandi out suspended, and Bajrami's out injured, although he wasn't in the squad anyway, so it won't matter. We'll get Suter's obviously still out long term. Cornelius is out, and he's been replaced by Dujon Sterling into the squad. So AK, what team do you think the manager will pick, or what team would you pick? What would you like today?
Oh, that's nice, Bridge, man. Basically, he's saying, here, there's some rope. Go and hang yourself, eh?
I actually agree with him. Yeah.
You're kicking me off the flank, Bridge.
I was going to say something else here, but it might not be politically correct and might get a complaint, so say nothing.
Just going back to the Ferns-Faroes game tomorrow night, had a wee look before we come on there, and I'd done some homework. They're top 8 in the group. They currently sit 6 on 11 points. Rangers are obviously bolting 4 after our terrible start, but they qualified last year actually for a knockout phase. Ferns-Faroes, as we know, they've got former Celtic player Robbie Keane as their manager. They've scored a lot of goals. Expect goals in the game. I would say they've out of 9 in the last 11 games have scored over 2.5 goals in games they've been involved in. And a star player there's a guy called Barnabas Varga. He scored 9 in the Europa League for them. So that's the kind of guy to look at. He's the number 19. We expect him to play a 3-5-2. So they do play attacking football. And it's one of them now. We're backed ourselves into a corner, so no more or no less than 3 wins is going to get us anywhere near qualifying in the top 24. And we've got Ludogorets at home and Porto away, so it's tough games coming up. But my line-up I would go for tomorrow night would be Butland, Tavernier, Giga, Fernandez, Magoma, Raskin, Barron, Moore, Gisama, Miowski, Chermiti. And that would be a 4-4-2. So, take the bones out of that.
Chermiti and Miowski up front on the 2. Giant Bridge.
Actually, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I quite like
Yeah,
that.
calm down, Bridge. Bridge, calm down.
Stick with you,
Bridge, you're not
I'm
really
with you.
impressed. You're not really impressed. Don't be saying the words for him.
I'm impressed. That's a good team, and I think he should sit there and tell the world that he was really good and that's a good selection. That's why I say you, AK, brilliant, well done, pal. I'm with you. Not that means very much.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think he'll play the two of them, AK. I think he'll play one. It'll probably be Majowski, although I think he'll play Majowski because he's scored in the last couple of games. He's managed to get, well, should have scored against Dundee United, and he didn't. But his 2 goals probably plays him into the team. But I think Chimity gives you a more physical presence in that, but that's about it. He's not really gave us anything else, but he's been more inclined to play him. In the European games, AK Chimity was starting most of them.
That was my thoughts along with that Southside. You know, we've got to get something out of him eventually, and there'll be people going screaming at us, going, no, he's the last guy we bring on the part. And see, to be honest with you, I kind of tend to agree with a lot of the thoughts that's been said about him. I'd like to see minutes for young Curtis and Lyle Cameron, and I think there is players more deserving the minutes. When Danilo, when he comes on there, he does a lot of kind of running about, but he doesn't create a hell of a lot, and he doesn't certainly score with the ratio of shots at goal that it should be. But that goes for the whole team. So we're just trying to, I would say, probably more get a wee bit of confidence about the players, and it's more to do with running into these league fixtures rather than, you know, gathering something up for the European. So that we're going to have to use these guys. So he's going to, I think that's the reason why Danny Rowe keeps changing the team, because he's got to come up with some sort of solution. And he's been handicapped, obviously, with injuries and stuff. So when you're paying that sort of money out for that guy, and you're paying him so many thousands a week, you've got to play him. And it still bothers the life out of me. See the likes of Matondo just sitting there collecting money for nothing. What's happened to Rothwell? What's happened to Kieran Dowell? All the players, there's a lot of money going out the door. So it's just my thoughts, mate. I might be miles off it, but let's hope whatever he picks is good enough to come away with a win.
If I was taking one of the strikers out the team, then I think you'll probably find there'll be a space for Asgard or Danilo. I think you would put one of them in if you were taking Chimiti out your team, AK.
Would you trust him? Either Asgard or Danilo?
No, I probably don't trust them. But I think fitness-wise and where they are and where they've been in the squad and the chances they've had, I think they probably will.
What do you think, Bridge?
I think, to be honest, I think they will probably play Danilo. Between Ashgard and Danilo, I think they would probably play Danilo. I don't think Ashgard, it hasn't set the hell of a light, as they say. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying if you make a choice for somebody to play in Europe, then I think you would prefer someone that's going to be trying and get goals, you know. But we know the form. We know that they haven't the greatest form, neither of them. But somebody else might turn and say, "Oh, he's 6'1" or whatever he is." I'd rather have him and let him in, because sometimes he runs down and there's some shots at goal. But that's one of the things we don't have up front at the moment, is somebody that can actually take good shots at goal. But I would still prefer Danilo than Ashgard.
Aye, well, they've signed Asgard and he's got to start hitting for him and produce something at some point. Same with Chimiti. Easiest thing to do is say, don't play him, don't start him, or whatever, but we've paid best part of £8 million and we gave him a 5-year contract. We're not going to get that money back straight away, so we have to try and play him into form. and hope that we keep creating chances and he manages to hit the back of the net. And at some point, surely, before we sell him, if we can move him on, maybe before then, granted, but I don't see it.
Forgive me, I've got a question for you two. As far as Shermeet is concerned, does anybody watch the guy at training? And does he do anything at training that would tell you he's a really good player, a really good striker, and blah, 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 blah? I doubt very much if we've got anybody that watches that. I can't see that boy playing the way he plays now. I know some games he comes on and he does not too bad, but seriously, I mean, we've been watching him all season. He should be a stalwart in the Rangers team. He's a big 6'4" monster of a guy, and he somehow or other he doesn't do it. Nobody's frightened him. No, nobody frightened him because he doesn't show that. And yet he's not a great football. He scored a couple of good goals for us. Don't get me wrong, but I just wonder if he's showing up in training and he's doing good things in training. Somebody should be telling the fans, well, he's definitely doing it in training. Because I'm telling you now, I'm befuddled with him. I can't understand that he can walk onto a football park and be lost in a lot of the games, and I just can't understand it. Sorry, guys, I do.
I can't say I did Tannadice there. Where I was in the stadium when the cross came in, I thought he'd stick his head on this and bury it. But he didn't. I thought it was a poor miss. I haven't seen it back, only seen it on the night. But it's a centre forward, you've paid a lot of money, AK. And there was a good delivery in. He just had to guide the ball into one of the corners of the net. And he done nothing. No, it's poor. But at some point, I'd hope that he's got to hit some type of form, or we've got to give him chances where he might start to score the goal here and there that might give him the confidence. Because he will be getting game time at some point. But no, Majowski's not going to start every game, and Danilo's hasn't been prolific when he started up front in games. You've got to remember, but he's getting chances, but he was our third choice striker last year. AK.
Oh, 100%, mate. 100%. And you're right, that miss Tannadice there was shocking. You know, I'm screaming it to tell you, goal. It's got to be, just put your head on it. It's got to go in. And I don't think he even makes contact. So very, very poor. Very poor. But do you know the main difference I find an upturn in form? And it's a guy that you've been talking about for a while and why he wasn't getting an opportunity. I think Bizrami coming into the team there, Southside. I think he's been a key figure in there where Majowski was making runs and nobody was clever enough to look up and find them. I think Bizrami coming into the team is that guy who was on the same wavelength as him. You need day players, Stephen Davis, Davy Coopers, guys making late runs. You've got to see them, and you've got to be in the same wavelength as them to find them. And I think that was a key thing for us no scoring goals. We weren't making enough opportunities, as well as the strikers not putting them away. But a lot of the focus came on the strikers because of the poor return. But you need to play as a team, and that goes for everybody. Your Tavernier just doing what he wants, your Raskin just do what he wants. That was becoming detrimental to the team. So everybody's got to contribute for any sort of positive results going on the future. And I think Mikey Moore is one of the few guys in our team that is willing to take the ball and run with it as well. And I think if somebody can, run beyond the strikers, and that's where Lyle Cameron comes in. If he starts to get game time, that's where we start to score the goals that we're looking for. Because up until now, it's been a poor return. But we know that.
What's happening with him? Why is he not getting a game, AK?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure whether he's injured or whether he's kicking his heels or whether he's just doing the pecking order. But I would like to see the wee man get more game time than what he's getting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think when you look at some of the performances for some of our midfield players, I think he should have or could have been given a few more chances for the bench. listen, the boy Finlay Curtis is the same. Some of the two wingers have been poor at times most of this season, and you'd have thought Finlay Curtis, although he was out injured there and he's not long back, but before that he could have had chances. And obviously got his chance at Kilmarnock coming on and then having to go back off. But he's probably another one hoping to get a chance and find a way into this team, starting 11, because the two wingers, well, obviously, Ant-Man's out for about 8 weeks, I reckon, he said. So Gasman's down to him, but his form's been a bit erratic and a bit poor at times as well. So maybe Finlay Curtis might find himself getting a start, but Lyle Cameron, I think he's just doing the pecking order bridge. I think that's more or less what it is. He's doing the pecking order. And Lyle, same as Finlay Curtis was for a while, and they need to push and hopefully get into the team. But Bezrami, who I like as a football player, starting to show a bit of form. He works hard in that, so I'd like to hope that him and Mikey Moore going forward will maybe start to create things for the team and players like Majowski to go on the end. Because the midfield's poor, we don't score enough goals, our defenders don't score enough goals, and our strikers haven't been scoring enough goals. So hopefully these two players plus one or two others that get a chance will start to show a bit of form and get us up this table and get us some more points in Europe, AK.
That's what it's all about, mate. That's what it's all about. It's just building and gathering momentum. Go after you again, Bill. It's just gathering momentum. But it's more, as I said, about domestic stuff. If we can carry that into the league and get us up to the January transfer window, then who knows what's ahead is. We could get some success out of a very average first half of the season.
Aye, well, it's coming that time. It's time to wind up the show. It's getting to that time. So, first of all, I would like to thank everybody that's been on the YouTube channel Feed the Night and contributed to the show and had a wee bit of banter on it. I'd like to thank them for joining us as always, because there's a lot of them come on every night, the same sort of people. I'll not start naming you all, but you know who you are on regular. So I'd like to thank you for being on the YouTube feed again, and also everybody that listened out there on Facebook, and thank them as well. We will have a show. Well, I don't know. I'll wait to see. We might have. I'm not sure who's available yet. But AK, I'll come to you first. Thank you first of all for coming on the show and joining us tonight. And also Bridgeman, thank you as well, Bridge, for helping us out tonight. It's been thoroughly appreciated and thoroughly enjoyed doing the show with the two of you. So AK.
Yep, privilege and pleasure as always, mate. Thanks to yourself for hosting and the legend that is the Bridgeman. I hope everybody enjoyed the show and come on the Rangers.
Bridgeman.
Oh, what a show. So, see, that was brilliant, a marvellous show, absolutely superb. Great company, yourself and AK. I think AK was excellent tonight with a lot of the things he said. I'm not dead sure about yourself, Southside, but he was really good at AK. Sorry, guys.
The housewife's favourite.
Oh, what can I say? Housewife's favourite, right enough. Can I just say, please, the techie guys in the background as well, absolutely superb. And to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, tomorrow night, biggest game of the season by a long way. Let's see if we can get our team up and let the team go and do it. Please do it for the Rangers. Everybody keep it going now. Just keep it going.
Aye, well, I'd like to thank you two again for helping us out. I'd like to thank Ross, who phoned in the show tonight, and we hope Ox gets well soon. He was an injury casualty tonight and had to jump on and help out. So I'd like to thank you two guys for helping us along tonight, and hopefully Ox will be on his recovery, get a physio into him. But tomorrow night, it's all about the famous Glasgow Rangers, and hopefully the team and the players will do the support proud. I'm sure we'll be loud and proud tomorrow night, and hopefully the team will be the same and get a result. We need to get some more points on this board, and it'd be a good start. They're a hard team. They've got a good record there, but hopefully we'll go there and surprise them and get a victory, and then we can come back and start the league for them again against Hibs next Monday. There will be a show tomorrow night after the game, probably about 8 o'clock. So there'll be a show tomorrow between 8 and 10. So I'd like to thank Fox and Old School Blue for the technicals, because without them there is no show. So I'd like to thank them for all the hard work tonight as well, and thank everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. So take it away, Fox.